All right, going to try to wrap this up this evening. But we have 2 more videos, even though we only have 10 more cards left. So you can see that the case, man, the case holds more than 100 cards. So it's hard to not. I mean, these cases could actually hold about 130 cards comfortably, and I think I'm closer to 120. Now, look, this is where now we're into the year 2005, and like I just think sometimes I think it just sometimes takes time for things to get baked in and defined as iconic, right? So the earlier it is, the easier it is for us to really have a sense of history and understanding. The newer stuff, I think, is a lot more flexible, and hence why there's a little bit more of it, relatively speaking. Now, I want to address a point before people address it for me. Relating to the LeBron Exquisite, I totally dump on and hate on all these National Treasures rookie card patches that have come out in the last couple of years. I'm telling you something, the LeBron is labeled from the rookie photo shoot. I think the rookie photo shoot patches are awesome for rookie cards. I would love to see the standard be rookie photo shooter rookie cards, and their second year cards are from rookie year jerseys, okay? I just feel the rookie photo shoot cards are dope. So I just want to make from the photo shoot, the patches are cool. I like them. I have no problem with them. We know what they're from. All right, we're going to move into some cards where, again, I'm not going to define them as 100% iconic. I think there's some flexibility here. So, interesting card here. Aaron Rodgers. I want Aaron Rodgers in the case. I want Exquisite in the case, and what I will say is that this was in the case representing Exquisite until I got the LeBron. So Aaron Rodgers Exquisite's kind of on the chopping block. So I maybe put it in other contenders. So I get an Aaron Rodgers contenders. So to me, that's what's, really, what's really fun about the case. I also, obviously the auto is kind of soft. Auto is soft on all these. And I do think the blue patch jersey is a little odd. I'm assuming they wore those blue throwback uniforms that year. Maybe it's a Cal jersey. So this card is kind of weird in a couple of different ways. It does say that, the jersey and patch is a jersey worn by Aaron Rodgers in an official NFL game. So now it'd be very cool if it was one of those throwback jerseys and they in fact, put a picture from that throwback game. I'd feel a little bit differently. So this is a card squarely on the chopping block. And then we've got 2 more cards, and I can tell you what I really think. Okay, so we got some hockey. For the longest time, you couldn't talk Crosby without talking Ovechkin. You couldn't talk Ovechkin without talking Crosby. Young Guns, super iconic brand and set. I do ultimately want to get one of the Upper Deck The Cup cards into my case. So for that reason, I could see these being on the chopping block. I could see it going from, I could see it going from both guys in the case to one of the guys being in the case. I just don't know. That's what's hard. This is still sort of modern stuff, Messi, 2006. Now, I love this card. I pulled it myself, got it graded myself recently. It was amazing how underpriced this stuff was. I like this because it's Panini World Cup, right? So it's Messi's first card in an Argentina jersey. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous, stunningly so gorgeous Messi card. So look, again, is this card really iconic top 100? I could see this changing over time, but for now, I love the way it looks. And to me, it goes in the case, right? So, we're getting into a lot of debatable stuff. We're getting into a lot of debatable stuff. I forget that I need to be sleeving these up. That's part of the reason for the video. Now, the next player, I really need to get a higher end card for him because he's a Longhorn. He's a legend, and and kind of meeting him a couple times this year, he's just been beyond cool. And I know he actually does collect, so I feel like I've got to get a slightly more iconic Kevin Durant. I like the card. I think it's a great card. It's a rookie patch. lots going on for this. Great card. Yeah, and they say this is an event used memorabilia patch. I assume it's a rookie photo shoot patch. I wish it said rookie photo shoot. Getting 10 autos out of Kevin is pretty tough. So there's that aspect. But anyway, I do think that over time, I'll probably end up with a slightly higher end Kevin Durant. Now, I don't know what that would be. I actually don't know what I mean, he's got an ultimate collection, maybe like one of his super high-end Topps Chrome refractors, you know. So KD is not properly represented in the case. And then, again, I'm going to say this a lot with these last few cards. The next card, don't know if it's iconic, but I love the look of it. I love the fact that this was in a baseball card. And I will say that, like, but you're going to see another president here pretty soon. Yeah, you're going to see another president. I might as well just show him. So I love Ginter. I absolutely wanted a Ginter. And it's a 9-9. I had a 10-10 in the blue auto. I probably should have kept it. But I love the red auto. Red auto is a unique thing to Ginter and Heritage. So I've got two presidents in the case. So, like, you know, but look. I love the Obama because no one really appreciated it till the pandemic boom. Because when we started looking for unique things. Now, I think a lot of us knew the card existed. But, you know, like, Obama has a lot of cards, actually. A lot of presidents actually have a decent number of cards. So, like, shout out Barack Obama. You know, I love presidents being in sets. You know, I don't know. I love Ginter. Ginter's got some super cool cards. You know, so again, that's people talk to me, man. They're like, what, you know, what are you doing with, like, they're like, man, 100 cards, it's not that many. I'm like, dude, you can debate these 100 cards like till you're blue in the face. So I think that, all right, so let's get into the Mike Trout run. There's 3 Mike Trouts. Well, actually, before we get to the Mike Trouts, let's get to the Curry. You know, Curry Chrome Refractor number to 500. This wouldn't cross to a PSA 10 because of the corners. Just a monster card. You know, bought this relatively recently. Again, this is another card that got super nutty and then came down. And I actually think it's stabilized quite a bit. Curry's got some great cards. His Exquisite's a cool one. You know, I just don't know if, like, you know, I don't have National Treasures. I don't have a National Treasures. I don't think I have a National Treasures RPA. Maybe I would do Steph Curry RPA National Treasures. It's just gotten so out of hand. But, you know, you got to, you know, invest and over time upgrade stuff. So, yeah, this Curry's not locked in here either. I could see myself wanting a National Treasures RPA. Just have a National Treasures RPA on the list. So, let's get into Mike Trout. Gold, Bowman Chrome. So Bowman Chrome is a major important set to the hobby. A lot of people would say that the pool hole should be my representation for Bowman Chrome. But look, what I like about Bowman Chrome is they're generally, you know, in some ways I don't like it, but some ways I don't like this aspect. But I will say, like, this is what makes Bowman Chrome. It's like a spring training game with no one in the stands. I don't even know if he's got his name on his jersey. But what you want about Bowman Chrome is you want the pictures of the kids before they make superstardom. So, love this copy, number to 50. Look, Trout's obviously, I think that there's some people who have him totally pinned as a sure thing. Look, he is a Hall of Famer, but like in terms of his hobby legacy, I'll be very candid. This is going to upset some people. It's just like how I think people have Mahomes pinned a little high, a little early. People have Mike Trout pinned a little high, a little early. But I do think he's great for baseball cards. I like him a lot. I've gotten his autograph a handful of times. He's always been super cool. And like, you know, this is a great, great card. I like it, you know. But again, next up on Mike Trout, I do think that his 2011 Topps update is 100% iconic. I love it. And I love that there's parallels of it, right? I love that his flagship update has parallels. There's a handful of parallels, which makes it cool. I have an unnumbered parallel, but they got the red, they got the blue, they got the canary, they got the hope, they got all the platinum. Here we go. We got the platinum. We got the diamond anniversary. I think it's just a banger of a card. Banger of a card. And I do there are times when I think that this is kind of like an atomic refractor. There's times atomic refractor designs really kind of detract. I think this particular pattern makes him pop. So I love it. Also, people don't talk about, he's wearing a throwback jersey. I love throwback jerseys. We're going to talk about throwback jerseys. Now, here's a Mike Trout card that is not, again, it's in here because it's just so valuable, and I think it's a dope card. But it's in here because, again, this is a card I don't really want to sell. I think it's a completely underappreciated set. I can't say it's iconic, though, but I love it. So I love it, which makes it iconic to me. I mean, gold, PSA 10 of the 10 auto, and it's numbered to 75. Obviously, people don't like the inconsistency of how Topps numbers the gold cards, but gotta love the rookie era signature Trout on there. What I love about Topps Finance is the gold, the background's gold, but also the inner picture's gold background. So it's just, there's a lot of gold. So, I mean, the value of this compared to the value of this, I think that this is a better value, but it's certainly less iconic, So we got that. And also, I kind of got a reputation for bagging on modern cards. You can see I've got some modern bangers. I've got some modern bangers in here, people. All right, next card. Final one for this round. Shout out to the Logo Man. I do think the Logo Man is a fascinating invention on cards. I think if you're going to talk about design and styles, I think you gotta talk about Logo Man. The Logo Man's fire. I think it does. When we talk about patch cards, I prefer a full game used jersey to a patch. But guess what? When you're talking about a game used jersey, there is only one Logo Man. Okay. So to me, the Logo Man is a little bit different of an animal than than a really nice patch. Now, Clyde Drexler, I don't have him represented in the 86 Fleer. If I could pick up a Barkley Logo Man, look, point is, you gotta have a Logo Man. I like the Houston ties. I do tip my cap. Drink. I said tip of the cap, so it's a drinking game. You gotta drink. Tip my cap to Houston quite a bit. I didn't realize that I had at first there was nothing Houston in there. Now I've got a bunch of Houston in here, so it's a little bit different. But Logo Man, I think it's a great design too. And this was not that expensive. This cost less than I'd pay for a full Clyde jersey. So that's the other thing is I don't want to pay more for a Logo Man than an entire game used jersey costs. This cost me less than what a full game used jersey would run. I just think it's a great design. I do think that this is a great design. Shout out Logo Man. All right, we're going to get through the end of the case. We hit 100, and you know what? Maybe I say nothing that's less than 10 years old counts. So maybe it has to be over 10 years old to count as official 100 because all the next cards, they're not 10 years old yet. Some are getting close. And so maybe it takes 10 years for a card to properly age, right? But lots of debatable things in here. again, becoming an icon takes time. So some of these things are baking. They're in the oven to become icons. So makes it fun. Giannis is in the case, but there's also other Prism in the case. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on some of these cards because it's like, I want Giannis in the case. We could talk all day about what Giannis should be in the case. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on and on here. Next up, Conor McGregor. Now, does Conor remain iconic? I think, to me, he's iconic. I loved watching his fights. But definitely this card took some time to even be recognized. I did very well having bought 2 Raws for like $1,000 a piece and getting them graded 10s, then selling them. And so I bought back in, and I do like the 910. It's fine for me. And I love the old Conor McGregor auto on it. So, again, he's iconic to me today. I don't know if he's iconic long term. I don't know if this set, they lost the license. We could debate this. Now, this is a tip of the cap. This next card is a tip of the cap to Topps Heritage Dual Autos. And I just think that this is a beyond badass of cards. And I actually do think that this mofo would actually dual grade out well. So I actually might send this thing in for dual grading because both these guys are hard to get 10 autos of. So I do think this could add some value to it. I just think that it's a badass card. I do think that there's probably, there's some really cool duels, okay? Right? Just like there's some really cool throwbacks, okay? Now, again, tip of the cap to Houston. But I do think the Astros throwback uniform is one of the most recognizable. But there are some great ones. Like Trout has some awesome throwback cards. Bryce Harper's got I guess, I've got Bryce in the case. Again, it's going to take some time. I love Heritage throwback. Heritage is really what kind of got me back into cards in a really big way in 2017. I hadn't ripped any product in forever. 2017 Heritage, it caught my attention as the first case of cards I ever bought. And I actually pulled an Aaron Judge real one. That's what they call the autographs in Heritage, a real one auto. Heritage used to drive the baseball market, okay? Because of the chase cards in it. The throwbacks. There's allegedly 10, maybe 20 of each one. I do wish they were numbered. Also, because it's a retail product, a lot of the throwbacks ended up in common piles. So I love the fact of truly a needle in a haystack. It is hard to pull the big hits, but man, it's super, super rewarding. So Heritage is personally important to me. I do also think that Heritage, I feel like over the last couple of years, it's kind of lost its luster, but I think that Heritage will ebb and flow with the hobby. And I say that partially because I picked up a couple big Heritage cards relatively recently that I'll show in another video. They're not in the case. I showed this card not too long ago, and Topps Now. I thought Topps Now is a super awesome, unique product. Since I talked about this card already, I won't kind of belabor it, but I like the concept of Topps Now, of how it tells the story of the season in real time through the season. And then this was the first year of Topps Now. It was the Penupulate. It was a big thing. It was the last card of the set, last play of the World Series. I mean, for this card, for there's multiple logos, there's multiple signatures. There's a lot going on with this card, yet it looks super clean and awesome. So, Topps Now has got to be in the set. I feel like this is the iconic Topps Now card. I love it. It came up in Heritage. And look, guys, this is numbered to 99. This is one of those cards where people are like, well, there's 99 of them. There's so many cards that are numbered to 99 you see all the time. You just don't see a lot of these, dude. These are buried in people's PCs. There's Topps Now collectors. There's Cub collectors. There's people who just collect iconic shit. This is it to me. So this is just, I love this card. Thrilled to own it. Don't care about the player's career or whatever. This was just such a big moment. This was just such a big, big moment in sports history. Top slam dunk home run for commemorating a great moment. And love it. Just love it. All right. Connor McDavid. So I do think that I've decided. So this is an exquisite, great patch, numbered to 97. Love this card. I think it's a fantastic looking card. But I will say that I do think that eventually I'm going to have to pony up and get an in the cup McDavid, or do an not in the cup, the upper deck, the cup, Ovechkin, Crosby, or McDavid. I do love this card. I think it's just a great looking card. So again, McDavid's fluid. Now, do I have another one of those in here? So like another big thing in the hobby, buyback autos. And so I love the Young Guns McDavid buyback auto. This is a pretty hard card to find. And so I bought it raw on eBay and got it graded myself. The 8.9 grade is fantastic for a buyback. Think about the journey a buyback card has. It was put into a pack, gets pulled from a pack, gets rebought, gets shipped to the player, gets signed, gets shipped back. I do love that I've got the original certificate of authenticity that came with the buyback. I don't know. I just love it. I think so. For me, like, I wanted to have a buyback card in the case. There's a couple more iconic buybacks, but some of them are a little nutty. So for me, I just thought this was a good way to represent buybacks. So there's that. Mbappe is a beast. This card is more of an acknowledgement for stickers. I do think that originally I didn't really like the sticker concept, but look, most of the world collects these stickers. And I mean, I don't know how old he is in this photo, but he's probably like 16 years old. And so I do like the fact that it's a sticker. I do think that this card's kind of underappreciated as some of the other cards, but we do have another Mbappe. All right. So again, Mbappe stickers, I like, like for a sticker, I could go with like Maradona sticker, Messi's got something, there's some big stickers out there, guys. I mean, this shit gets hard, it really does. Now, we do have a National Treasures coming up, and I guess we actually have a couple National Treasures. I might sell this one. I mean, Mahomes, to me, I think is definitely on the track to be iconic. This is a National Treasures number 9, but it's funny to me. It's the rookie photo shoot version, so it's not like the true RPA, but this was so cheap, and it's a 9.5 with a 10 auto. Just this thing's selling for like a 20th, of what like the real RPA sells for. I was thrilled to have picked this up on alt, I guess before the season. So I might sell this, right? Like I could see myself selling this thing. But I do like it. I do think that, and I will say, I think like with a guy like Mahomes, as much as I bag on the crazy collectors of his, there's some massively cool Mahomes cards that are wildly undervalued relative to what like his key Prism parallels and what his key National Treasures go for. He's got tons of cards. He was a first-round quarterback. Mahomes has tons of cards that people kind of just overlook and kind of dump on. And it's like, if you believe in Mahomes, I don't know why something like this isn't a bigger deal than it is, So if you like Mahomes, don't feel like you have to own these like super hyped cards. There's actually relative value in some of Mahomes' cards because his big cards have such hype. Now, the man who made a lot of this collection possible, because I was flipping his cards, and this is actually one that like I never owned when it first came out, but I do love, and it's numbered to 99. And again, there could be a bunch of different Lucas. You could just say the plain old. You could just say the plain old silver Luca is iconic. I went with the blue ice. I actually think the blue ice, that this blue is more of a color match. The dark blue of which maybe I own one, or maybe I don't know. I've had a couple I've had a couple of true blues numbered to 199. To me, it actually doesn't look as good as this blue. And also, shout out to Cracked Ice. It's a lot like an atomic refractor. I do think that in this case, the design is a little detracting. I will say, and I've said this, most Prism cards are not well designed. I don't love the design of, there's very few Prism designs that I actually think are aesthetically great. Like maybe 13 and 14 are really good aesthetically designed Prism cards, but in general, I think Prism's just not a great design set. I do not think that this card design will age well at all. Like these tire tracks in the background. So like I could see myself being like, it's just an ugly card, right? Like I think people take that for granted, just kind of an ugly card design. But I do like the blue ice numbered to 99. So and I don't own tons of high-end Luka, which is crazy relative to how much I love him. Got a couple gamers, but Luka helped make the collection. Now, by contrast, where I said, like, I don't think that that's a super aesthetically pleasing card, here's a card that I think is gorgeous in hand. And I think it's really just going to come down to how this player's career pans out. So again, this is why it's by far not an official iconic 100, but this Acuna is such a strikingly gorgeous card in hand. And quite frankly, a lot of the Topps photo image variations are just striking cards. Man, I just freaking love this card. I love the way it looks. The photography pops, the color pops. I've owned a couple copies and I've bought it and sold it successfully. But this was a card that I missed. When I sold it, it was a card I missed. And again, I can't say Acuna is going to be all-time great, but man, I think this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. All right, back to Mr. Mbappe. Look, you got to have a shout out to Prism Gold. And relative to what some of the NFL guys' Prism Golds have sold for, I felt like this was a pretty good buy, okay? I do wish that the background was gold, but I mean, I just wish there was more gold. This is number 10 of 10. Mbappe's got that 2016 sticker. He's got 2017 Topps, and he's in a PSG uniform. And then he's got, first World Cup, won the World Cup. So I do think that this is a bit of an investment, speculative play. If for some reason things get really nutty, I can totally see myself selling this. But for me, I think it's his best card. I don't know. But I'm a huge Messi guy. I went to that World Cup, and I mean, this dude's just a different type of dude. And when we talk about GOATs, LeBron's rookie card, if you look at the separation between, in terms of age, between Messi and Mbappe, I think they're far enough apart that we could say, but again, there's lots of good young players. You got to have a long career now, but if Mbappe keeps doing what he's doing and wins another World Cup, I mean, so again, now look, this is expensive, and to me, I don't love this card the way I love some of the other cards. So yeah, there's a little bit of risk in this for me because I just don't, so if things took off, whatever. All right. Superfractor. I feel like you got to have a superfractor if you're talking about iconic designs, right? And I pulled this myself, and it came back at 1010. So obviously Jeff McNeil is not an iconic player, but man, we're dealing with like an iconic part of what year was the first superfractor, right? I mean, someone's Topps Chrome superfractor, obviously, imagine Mike Trout. I mean, look, I mean, imagine if he had a Topps Chrome rookie. Imagine if he had a superfractor, right? Like, what does that do to that? I mean, anyway, superfractors are bangers. I pulled this superfractor myself. Maybe we'll have a different superfractor one day, maybe, but for the time being, just dope. So, and then here's a national treasure. I pulled this myself. So this is, again, Zion really did a lot for the hobby. Is this card in here long term? I don't know. I hate the patch. It's some bullshit patch, right? I mean, it does say player worn used. I mean, so it is of the era where it's player worn, player used. But I mean, come on, I do like the general design of this card though. But again, we got to see what happens, this guy. But he created a moment and a stir in the hobby. This is just a card that I think is badass. I actually have it in silver. This is the purple ice just because of the color match. Right? Just a dope ass photo. I mean, just one of the best photos of all time in the NBA. So there's that aspect. So again, this card could age really well. I mean, like, look, with like LeBron, the chalk dust, right? Like, again, I think it takes time for some of these things. But for me, I mean, I do think that like as many mistakes as Panini has made, putting this on the card is like, finally, Panini did something really smart. And they didn't bastardize it by putting it on 100 other cards like they have other times. So, look, women's cards, I mean, I think you got, I mean, I should have better representation of women. I like this card particularly because it's not a quote unquote color match. But for some reason, despite it not being a color match, it's awesome. I think that like aesthetically, that you can have non-color matches that look aesthetically awesome. And so again, who knows what's going to happen to her career? Time will tell. And we're going to close out with a card that's definitely coming out of the case. I don't have space for two Topps Nows, but I thought that this was an awesome creative card. Topps Now with the corn stalk, authenticated corn stalk. Because it's so unique, it stays in here. Topps Now has done some awesome stuff. The Field of Dreams game in and of itself was awesome. So, when I talk about like, look, I do think having a prism gold is super important. But there, maybe it's Herbert, maybe it's Burrow, maybe I buy someone else. But I love this card. Okay? I can't say I love this card. Okay? And this card's worth this card's worth like 400 times more than this card, but I love this card. Okay? I love this card. The stalk off. And then I got to go to Field of Dreams this year and I sat next to the commissioner of baseball. So the Field of Dreams game, love it. The piece of stalk, love it. The stalk off, love it. So it ain't all about the money, people. I know I've shown off some massive cards. This case, I don't know what this case is worth today. $4 or $5 million in this case? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot in this case. But some of the lower end cards, they're just dope. So I don't know how often I'll do a video updating the case. This was a lot more work and time intensive than I expected. But I felt like I added the Kobe Topps Chrome Refractor. I added the LeBron Exquisite. I added the Luka Blue Ice. I mean, I added the Mbappe Gold. I mean, so when you're showing off bangers like that, you know, I just felt like an update was in order. You know, I mean, I don't know. Financially, I don't know if we're going to ever have a bigger update. You know, I don't know if we'll ever have a bigger update than that financially. I mean, those are some, I mean, that was, shit, that was like 700. I mean, that was damn near $1 million worth of updates to the case. So all the updates ain't going to be like that, you know? So anyway, I'm blessed to have these cards. I love them. They mean a lot to me. I don't take it for granted. And I do want to say, I want to close with this. Do not let my collection or the value of my collection influence what you like, okay? Nor should it really totally shape what you define as iconic, okay? Iconic and value are two very different things. What I hope this did is inspire you to curate your collection in a way that makes you happy and makes it more manageable for you, okay? That's what I hope this does. And if it's a PSA 8, 1987 Topps Bo Jackson that's worth like $18, that's okay to be in your case. It's your case. They're your cards within your budget that makes you happy, okay? That's all that matters. I still don't like this hobby's focus on value and going up and going down. I think that's kind of corny. Yes, it matters, but it shouldn't be such a high percentage of our content. What should be a high percentage of our content is what you love and what you want to curate for your collection, what you want to show your friends to have a good time, what puts like little warm feelings in your heart. And it can be a $15 card. You know, that's okay. If there's so many people who don't like cards right now because they're so over leveraged by them. And that breaks my heart. And they're in that position by these influencers who sold them a bad bill of goods. They sold them a dream that was full of shit. And we're still coming out of it, you know? So if you have a collection that you're proud of and is comfortable to you financially, that's worth so much more than anyone will give you credit for. I'd rather see a $100 collection that someone's passionate about than $1 million collection with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and might be upside down. That's not heart. That's not heart. The hobby and collecting is about heart because it's about connecting to the sport and the players that make you happy and you enjoy watching and you want to have some connection. That's why it's heart. It's about the connection. It's about the nostalgia. It's about the feeling. It's not about the bank, you know? So with that, your 100 iconic cards can be whatever you want them to be.